All right, let's see how to use DAGL. First, go to dagl.org and get your free software. The DAGL SDK is available for Windows, Mac, or Linux. I'm going to download the Windows version because I'm running Windows here. Once the software is downloaded, go grab the zip file. As this Windows, I'm just going to unblock it. And then get that onto your computer. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put it on my, let's say, D drive. Let's create a new folder. DAGL download. Open up the zip file and you'll find a README. Let's open that up. And you'll find two zip files. One for the DAGL software itself and the other for the client demo. So I'm going to put those, I'm going to unzip those here. I'm going to create separate folders, one called DAGL and one called DAGL client demo. And then I'll take the contents and place it in there. Do the same for the DAGL software. And these instructions are all in. So we've unzipped the two files and we've created folders and we've copied the files into them. Now what we want to do is create two terminal windows. And we want to switch, we'll go to the right drive. And simply run from within that directory the dagl.exe. And you can see now it's up and running in a console app and it's listening on this address, http://localhost 7186. And over here, we can do the same thing. And run that one. And that's running a client demo running on 5146. This application, if you visit it now, client demo, localhost 5146, you can see the number there. And that represents this fictitious company called DAX, standing for Decentralized Asset Exchange. And this example is entirely written using the API exposed by DAGL. Okay, we'll have more to say about the API in a moment, but let's just see what it means to have drop-in decentralized triple entry accounting running on distributed ledger technology. So the scenario is DAX is a typical digital platform that allows its customers or users the ability to, among other things, transact with one another, buy and sell things amongst each other. And what's a common problem for these platform owners is that they become custodians of wealth on behalf of the customers who are buying and selling things of value. And so there's typically a wallet involved, And as a result, because the platform is holding the wallet contents for all of its customers, they become a counterparty risk. And more, we're seeing people want to avoid that if at all possible. And that's exactly what DAGL will allow this fictitious company to do. So they've installed DAGL and they're writing an application that makes use of the DAGL APIs in order to achieve this. So let's see how it works. The DAX is basically a place where people can come to exchange digital assets. You can see there's some categories: music, videos, books, 3D printing, photographs, and so on. And the idea is you can look around and then buy things from certain users. Here's the items. This is all obviously fictitious. These are generated things. But it will allow us to create actual transactions that are backed by a general ledger running on the Hedera distributed ledger in this case. To make use of this, we have to log in, and this demo comes with a few already generated users. And we talk about those in the write-up in the README. You can see the client, and there's a bunch of accounts already created. There's an administrator, which we'll come back to in a minute, and then there's 3 user accounts: Alice, Bob, and Carol. So what I'm going to do is log in, and their accounts are all the same: Alice at alice.com, Bob at bob.com, Carol at carol.com, and then the passwords are their first name, $1234. So you can log in as any of the users. So I'm going to log in here as Alice. And once you're logged in, Alice can then go shopping, upload items, assets for sale, and so forth. But what we're really interested in for this demo is the financial page, because this is where Alice sees her current wallet balance that's being held in escrow, if you will, by the platform DAX, as well as all of the financial reports that Alice gets as a member of DAX, because DAX is using DAGL as its accounting software. And so basically Alice and every other user gets a complete set of books, of accounting books, a complete general ledger and a set of financial reports that she can make use of. We can look at them all. We can look at her trial balance. We can see how much money she has in her wallet, how many general sales she's made. She hasn't sold anything, but she's made a number of purchases, as you can see, and she's paid some transaction fees. And these are all in the currency of the actual general ledger, which for simplicity, this demo uses TinyHBAR, the same native cryptocurrency that is Hedera's. That way the wallet balances and all the numbers jive, but you could imagine this being a general ledger in US dollars or any other currency for that matter. Anyway, here's a complete set of reports that Alice has, and of course all her journal entries to date are there as well. So if you're an accountant or you've done your own books for any length of time, this looks very familiar to you. Okay, these are standard, generally accepted accounting practices reports. So what we can do is Alice can buy something. So let's go to the gallery and let's pick something for Alice to buy. And let's say she buys something from Bob for $8,000. And what you're getting here is an asset purchase confirmation, which shows Alice her wallet balance, her item, what it costs, and the operating fees that she's going to pay. This DAX platform is not a not-for-profit, and so 10% of the actual transaction goes to them. When you're setting up your DAGL, you can specify those transaction fees. Okay, we'll show you how to do that in another video. So she's going to say confirm, and there in that moment, that purchase has taken place in real time. And what actually happened? Well, to see what actually happened, let's go back to our financials, and we can go look at a journal entry. And we can come down, we can see this is the latest journal entry, and you can see that she's made a purchase for $8,000. She paid $800 in fees, and therefore her wallet was deducted a total of $8,800. And that's a full journal entry, dated with a unique identifier, posted to her account. Moreover, these accounts, operator transaction fees, general purchases, wallet, they live on the Hedera distributed ledger, and they've now been updated in real time. What's interesting now is if we log out, and we log in to Bob this time, who she just made a purchase from, and we go immediately and look at his financials, and let's just look at journal entries really quickly. you will see the 8,000 general sale that was just made corresponding to the other half of that transaction. And what we have here are operator fees. He also pays 10% operator fees. So the buyer and the seller both pay 10% for the privilege of using the platform. And therefore, he's only making 7,200 of that purchase. Notice the GUID here, 4D. I didn't make note of it before, but it'll be the same one for Alice. And where things really get interesting is if we log out now and log in as the administrator and go to the administrator's financials, the administrator now is acting on behalf of the operator. So the DAX system itself has an administrator and they have special privileges. They have all the same accounts. Why would they have those accounts? If we go look at journal entries, you're going to see that same 4D0 GUID that we just saw, but we're going to see that transaction. It's not from Alice's perspective, not from Bob's perspective, but from the perspective of the operator who made 1,600, 800 times 2 in transaction fees for that particular entry. And really to bring it together, there is one additional button that the operator has, and that's the auditor journal entries. And when you look at it, this really brings home to roost this notion of a triple entry accounting, because this is that same journal entry fully exposed. In fact, this was the journal entry that got posted, and you're seeing the participants. There are 3 of them. There's Bob, there's Alice, and there's the DAX itself. And you're seeing that all of those parties were updated atomically with a single transaction through a smart contract. And it happens atomically. And that's how we tie together those transactions from all the stakeholders. Because there's Alice and there's Bob, and then there's the DAX who's making transaction fees on that transaction. Okay, so that's all well and good, but let's see what happens when we go in here and register a new user. Let's register Ed at ed.com, and the password will be ed$1234. And what's happening behind the scenes is that in addition to registering as a new user like you would on any website, an entire set of accounting books is being set up for Ed on the Hedera distributed ledger. But once it's set up, you can go immediately into Ed's financials and you can, for example, look at his trial balance. Now, of course, all of these numbers will be 0, including his wallet balance, right? It's a brand new empty set of books for all intents and purposes, and there are no journal entries. So Ed can start, to look around, peruse and everything, but he really has no money to go shopping. So let's fix that. Let's go into financials here and let's deposit funds into his platform wallet. So we click the deposit funds, and right away you'll notice we're taking to sort of like an ugly page. It doesn't have any styling or branding on it. And that's because it's not part of the DAX website. Instead, it's hosted by the DAGL itself. And you'll be able to style it so that it matches, whatever application you have. But I purposely left the styling off for now so that you could get an understanding that you've left the site. And we're now on the DAGL website here. And the DAGL wants a cryptocurrency account from which to fund the platform wallet. So I can put one in here. This will be Ed's cryptocurrency account, which he got from the Hedera portal, testnet, a free one with a public and a private key. And let's say he's going to deposit 10,000 tiny HBAR from that cryptocurrency account into his in-platform wallet. And he's going to say transfer funds. Now, at this point, he would normally provide a private key, but for safety and security reasons, this website never asks you for your private key. Instead, it gives you a transaction that you have to sign out of band with a separate tool. So I'm going to use a separate tool called the Hashgraph Transaction Signing Tool, written by Jason Fabry. It's an excellent tool, and you can find it. It's open source, and you can find it for free on GitHub. And what this tool wants is your private key. So you can get the source code and compile it yourself to know that it's safe. So I'm going to go over here and get my private key, and I'm going to paste it in there. And go to step 2, and now it wants to get the transaction. So here it is here. I'm going to copy the transaction, and I'm going to continue to step 3 and paste in that transaction. And then I'm going to sign it with my private key and copy it back to the clipboard, at which point now I can paste it back in here. So it's a little bit of a round trip there, but it means that the private keys never leave your possession and they're never keyed into a foreign website or anything like that. So At this point now, Ed's got, well, doesn't have the full 10,000 tiny H bar in his wallet. He's only got 9,900. What happened there? Well, to know that, let's look at the journal entries. And you can see that the transaction shows where the 10,000 went. This is the journal entry, his first journal entry, and the wallet has debited or increased by 9,900, but he had to pay a 1% transaction fee to bring funds into his wallet. Once again, somebody's got to pay for those network fees. And so generally speaking, the platforms will pass those on to the users. So now that Ed has some funds, he can go shopping. So let's go find something. Let's go buy from Dave for 6,000, confirm. And that transaction's happening. Again, notice we have no payment system. There is no PayPal or anything like that. This is a direct transaction from Ed to Dave with a complete accounting for it in the background. Financially speaking, he should have now 2 journal entries. And once again, the platform got their cut. It actually cost Ed 6,600. And of course, if we go log out and log in as the admin, we will see that full transaction in the audits down here. And you can see the full transaction that included Dave, Ed, and Dax. A full triple entry transaction, fully backed and fully transparent by the Hedera distributed ledger. And so in recap then, we have this DAGL, this automatic accounting and integrated payment system, is suitable for any online business that allows its customers to transact with one another, yet who do not want to be part of that counterparty risk by holding those wallets. By using the DAGL, because it's autonomous, the platform cannot access that money in any way, shape, or form other than through the official journal entries, which are fully transparent. So that the members, the users of the DAX in this case, are completely confident that their money is safe. Nobody can steal it or misappropriate it in any way, shape, or form. And so there you have it. That's triple entry accounting backed by a distributed ledger using the DAGL API.